My name is Wanjiru. I'm the director for Accurex. I'll be taking you through this presentation on or webinar on how to develop a personal brand and also how to position yourself. So feel free to ask your questions on the chat box. I hope everyone knows how to use the chat box. So just use the chat box to ask any questions you might be having as we go on. We hope to end at around 4 p.m. So the presentation will take about 45 minutes. Then we'll have another 5 minutes for Q&A. Feel free to ask any questions as we proceed ahead. What I can tell you, this is a very interesting topic to cover for myself and for anyone else who wants to develop a personal brand. And more so at this particular time, we have a huge crisis in the world and also in Kenya, and you're wondering, and you feel like maybe your business has been affected, you as a person has also been affected. But personally, I think this is the right time to be able to position yourself and also do enough branding such that when things calm down, you're able to start on a fresh plate. So this particular topic, we've done it previously offline. So it's interesting to see how people receive it or perceive it on the online space. So this is personal branding, how to stand out and differentiate yourself. Various people have a very different definitions of branding, but how myself I will define it is, how can I make myself different from my neighbor, from my competitor? How am I able to make myself stand out? So we hope by the end of this whole course, you're able to differentiate yourself with your neighbor, your competitor, either someone else who is offering almost the same products and services from you. So that's what we hope. So I'll dive right into the presentation. So these are different brands. You can see Safaricom, Airtel, Java House, Coca-Cola, KCB, Amaze. Amaze is a new product in the market. I think it is even less than 1 year old. It's Amaze Flour. We have Colgate, we have Weetabix. So what's the question that we ask is, what do these brands mean to you? Because whenever you go to the supermarket or whenever you are doing your shopping, whenever you want to buy either airtime, there's a conflict between, do I buy Safaricom, do I buy Airtel? And there's a joke that goes around, Safaricom, we've left it to be doing our M-Pesa, then Airtel for calling, then Telecom for internet or bundles. So it depends on how you perceive different brands. And also different brands could mean different things to people. So what exactly does such brands mean to you? Because I don't know if you've heard about the statistics. 90% of people buy things because they've seen them before. Like you've interacted with these things before, either in terms of adverts or your friends talk about it. That's what your mother used to use when you were young. For example, like Arianto. When you grow up, you don't know any other cooking parts, or it could be Kimbo or such a thing. So people only buy brands that are familiar to them. So when, especially you're doing personal branding, you want people to be very familiar to your brand. So how are you able to make that brand familiar to the people that are going to buy? So we have another slide. Moving on. Just hold on a second. Yes. What do these people mean to you? These are people who are very familiar to us. We have almost certainly interacted with them at one point or another, either in person or by interaction, like you've known them. Would you consider this as brands? we have a raise hand somewhere. So how many people agree that these people are brands? You can raise up your hand. Yes, I can see Teresia. She agrees that these people are brands. There's Faith also who agrees. There's Rhoda, Beryl, who else? And why do we agree that these people are actually brands? We have Lupita Nyong'o, she's an actress. We have Wangari Maathai, she was a promoter of the environment by planting trees. We have Akode. People might say she's controversial, but that's how she makes her money by the end of the day, by being controversial. We have William Ruto, our deputy president. We have the president himself. We have our hero of 2019, Kipchoge. And these are brands because, like you saw, Kipchoge was, after he ran the marathon of 1 hour, 59 minutes and 59 seconds, the Ineos, he went to promote huge brands like Isuzu, Ineos itself, the company that sponsored the marathon. And why would you think such huge companies would rely on him to sponsor their brand? It's because himself is a brand. Can you go somewhere and introduce yourself like, my name is Purity Wanjiru, and they actually know who you are? So that's the total essence around brands. Because you can become a brand, or we have two various types of brands. Brands that are products, like what I had shown before, or what is on your screen now. These are brands that are product-based. We also have brands that are services, but we also have brands that are people. So when you are thinking about branding, you ask yourself, do I want to brand myself as a person? Or do I want to be known for the products and services that I offer? So moving on swiftly, these are some of the steps that, feel free to put your comments as we go on for this discussion, or if you have any questions, suggestion, or if you want to loop in just to pick my brain as I continue, feel free to do that. So we go to steps of branding. So where do you start in this whole branding journey? The first step, I hope you can see on your screen, and this is normally the most critical or the most crucial part of branding, of the branding journey. You need to get your steps right. There are only 3 steps when it comes to branding. So you will want to get especially the first step very correct. And this is to identify who are you, or who are you? Like, what is made up of you, or what do you want people to especially know about your brand? So number 1 is under who are you is interest. Like, what are some of your interests? Like, what excites you? Because I know some of us, especially if you're just starting out, you could be having different interests. You're interested in games, you're interested in interacting with people, and you're wondering, I have 5 business ideas, but which one should I start with? So how you identify, or you narrow down exactly what you want to start with, is to identify what are my key interests. So you can list down, even as we continue with the presentation, like, what are my interests? What piques me? What makes me happy? What can make me wake up in the morning without a struggle? What is the passion that I drive? I'll talk a little bit more about passion at the end of this presentation as we go on. So just note down what your interests are. It could be fitness, it could be interacting, marketing with people, it could be mathematics or projections. You love to do analysis. Whatever interests you is what you start with. Then number 2, you go to skills and abilities. With skills and abilities, we have 2 dimensions of it. We have skills that we are born with, which are natural talents. We also have skills that we acquire along the way. This could be acquired through going to school, by interacting with people. So you need to identify of my skills and abilities, which come natural to me. Like me, I'm a people person. That's when I don't need to go to any school to be taught. It just comes natural to me. But things like the fact that I'm in HR, I'm naturally, that is a skill that I had to acquire by going to school. So you find out what comes to me naturally, what have I acquired along the way. Then under skills and abilities, which is a bit very or more very explanatory, what can you do easily? Because your skills and abilities are those things that you can do without much of a struggle. You just have to do it just like as easy as it could come. Number 3, under who are you, is your personality. Because a lot of our personality molds even the businesses and products and services that we come up with. So you need to find out, how does my personality interact with my brand? You know, because you could have a brand, for example, that deals with fashion, but you are an introvert. And fashion is very outspoken, it's out there. You see, like there will be a conflict because sometimes we'll have to deal with models, we'll have to deal with fashion people, and it needs a bit of aggressiveness. So you need to find out, how does my personality interact with the brand that I want to come up with. So I hope this is clear so far. If you have any questions, feel free to put them on our chat box, on our chat area. I'll be covering them as we go. Moving on, we've covered personality. If you wish to do a personality test, we have so many of them at our disposal. You can leave us with your email address. We'll send to you a personality test, and we can even guide you how to do the personality test. Moving forward, hold on a minute. Yes. So we've already covered tasks and activities. Hold on a second. Yes, let us move to tasks and activities. So I don't mind the photo that is there. And I think this is something that I started the conversation with. You have 3, 4, 5 business ideas, but you're wondering, which one do I start with? So this is just a photo that shows you have so many different interests. You have interest in music, animals, you want to travel, but you don't want to be a professional juggler. You want to concentrate under one thing. So we go to tasks and activities. So the next point you are going to cover is passion. I know a lot of people, we ask them, what is your passion? And it becomes a very hard conversation, or they don't have a very definite answer to answer what their passion is. And passion is just something that you love to do, something that comes natural to you. It could be, you could have gone to school to do it, but passion is something that comes to you as natural as possible. So you ask yourself what your passions are. You can list them down. Like, this is what my passion is. I love traveling. I love interacting with people. I love analytics. So whichever way you would want to explain what your passion is. Number 2, you ask yourself, what is your purpose in life? This is also a very hard question that a lot of people have difficulty to answer. Like, what exactly is my purpose in life? I think for pastors, it's an easy question to answer, because your purpose in life is to take people to heaven. But you need to, as a business person, what is your true purpose in life? It could be, like for us, like, or even for me myself, I feel like my true purpose in life is to bring education and enlightenment to as many people as possible. Like, just train people, that makes me happy. And that is, it's the split between my passion and my purpose in life. Then the third question that you can go to is, what do you want to do with your life? Like, what exactly do you want to do with your life? Do you want to be an accountant for the rest of your life? Do you want to be a HR for the rest of your life? Do you want to be a doctor, a nurse? What do you exactly want to do with your life? And I know this keeps changing from time to time, because when you are under 20 years, the biggest maybe ambition you want, or under 30 years, you want just to buy a car, you want to buy a home. But what happens after you buy that car or that home? So you need to find out what exactly you want to do with your life. And I know you could be asking yourself, how does all this come into play when we're talking about branding? Because this is the largest part. If you exactly know who you are, then building a brand becomes very easy. All right, moving forward, let's see what we have. We move to step 2. I hope step 1 is clear to everyone. Maybe by a show of hands, how are we doing on step number 1? If you're following, just raise your hand. Yes? Yes, we are doing very, very well. We are doing very, very well. We are doing very, very well. Thank you so much. All right, let's move to step number 2. Thank you so much. If you have any questions, make sure you put them on the chat box. So before I just move to step number 2, what I've said is step number 1 is just to find out who you exactly you are. Because by finding out who you are, then building your brand becomes very, very easy. We move to step number 2. Step number 2, it's time to differentiate. How are you able to differentiate? Because you don't want to have the same products as your neighbor has. Today, I'm just from town, and there were all sorts of face masks on the roads, on the supermarkets, and I was wondering, did all these people sit down and use the same fundi, which is so sad, because from the last previous days, I've been watching what is the requirement for face masks and what the people are selling on the roads. It's a total different space. And I'm wondering, is this just a copycat business that is going on? And you don't want the same to be regarded for your own brand. Like, you want to be able to differentiate it. If you see this product, you can say, this is different for Rachel, this is different for Purity, this is different for Steven, this is different for Lois. Like, you feel like it's something that is different. So when you talk about branding, another big thing after knowing exactly who you are is the differentiation. You need to find out who are your target markets. With this particular brand that you are having, how am I able to differentiate it from any other product offered in the market? Because, for example, I use Amaze, the maize flour. And in the same category, there is Hostess, there is Soko, there is Jogo. But why would you choose Hostess? Why would you choose Hostess or Amaze over all these other brands? So that is where the differentiation comes in. Then the next step is what makes you different from them or from other people. What is it that you can add to your brand that is very different or very unique? It could be the smallest thing, but it's so unique. I see, normally I live in Nairobi, and I see some people prefer going to Gikomba or going to Toy Market. But why would you travel all the way from Riru to go to Gikomba to get a pair of trousers? It could be there is something different with that person who provides them. So you need to find out exactly what makes you different from others. You could be offering the same trousers or you're selling the same products, but why would someone move from point A to point B to come to buy your product or service? Number 3, what is your value to your customer? This one, I can't say it more than enough times. Customers buy value. People just don't want to spend money. Like, I know today money is very scarce than it was even in January. But what value are you giving your customers? Because you're just not selling another piece of clothes like trousers. You're not just selling art for those who do artwork, but customers are more inclined to their value. And that is where we talk about empathy. Like, are you being empathetic when you're selling or you're building your brand? Have you considered that you are actually selling things to people or to customers? Because your customers are the biggest, like your customers are your life. Without your customers, the brand can't really stand the test of time. So you need to find out what kind of value am I giving to my customers. It could be a physical value, like for a trouser, it's just a trouser, but how does it fade? After how long does it fade? Is it elastic? Does it fit them correctly? Can it be worn to work and to a party? Those are some of the things you need to be asking yourself. So I'm seeing the question from Herbert. My passion doesn't pay. How do I monetize a passion for reading? That's an interesting question. We'll cover that question as we come to a close of this presentation. Moving forward, we are still under step number 2. Yes, we go to step number 3. And this is actually the last step of personal branding. So, time to show your brand. How many of you have already started showing off their brands? Maybe by a raise of hands. How many people have started showing their brands? There is Faith, Nancy, Steven, Ruth, which is good, Lois. And visibility is a very big thing today, especially the fact that we have an online space. And almost everything today has moved to the online space. If you don't have a Facebook page, there's Hudson there. I can see you've started showing off your brand. But the question I want to ask, when it comes to showing off your brand, what does it mean to you? Does it mean only uploading a photo on Facebook, uploading another photo on Instagram, uploading a photo? But this is a bit outside of this topic, but you can note down 5 W's and H. I don't know who have interacted with the 5 W's and H before, which the 5 W stands for what, when, where, how, what, when, where, who, and why. Those are the 5 W's. Then the H is how. Whenever you are going to show off your brand, you need to make sure that you have answered the 6 questions. What is my brand? Who is it about or addressing? What, who, when is a matter of time. Where is it going to happen? Then the other, why are you publicizing that particular brand, and how are you going to publicize it? So by addressing the 5 issues, then the topic of visibility becomes very, very easy. So when you are showing off, time to show off your brand, you ask yourself, keep online visibility. Do you have a LinkedIn profile? Do you have a Facebook page? Do you have an Instagram page? Do you have Twitter? Today I see there's a lot of TikTok going on. Are you using all these channels to reach your customers? Because the customers that are in Facebook could be very different from the customers that are in Instagram, or the customers who are found on LinkedIn or Twitter. So you ask yourself, am I reaching all these possible customers? And when you're building, when you're showing off your brand, you need credibility. Because you see, from time to time, you see a poster going on our WhatsApp pages, then you see someone writing scam. You don't want that to happen to your brand, because it takes you so many steps backwards to try to recover the credibility of your brand. So credibility is like, how true is it? Sometimes you can give a very crazy offer, and someone says it's a scam. You don't want that to happen to your brand, because you can take 5 years to build a brand, but just a couple of seconds for your brand to be torn down. And you don't want that, because it could even force you to change your name. It could totally change the game plan for your brand or your business. Then, the last point, tell your customers how you can help them. This one, I almost discussed it in the previous point. What value is your brand, either which is a product or a service, offering to your customers? So you need to tell your customers, by attending this course, like the one that we are currently doing on personal branding and positioning, how are they going to benefit from it? Because you need to build a better brand out of this particular course. If there was something that you are facing, like you feel like it was very difficult for you, this particular course needs to answer those questions for you. So the same happens to your brand. Like, you just need to be very particular and very clear to your customers. This is how best I'm able to, my business or my products or services are able to answer to your needs. So moving on forward. Yes, canvases, time for the rubber to hit the road. Let's just see how we are doing on follow-up. Is step number 3 clear to everyone? With a show of hands, for those of us who are following. Yes, Nancy, I hope that was very clear for you. Faith, Ruth, thank you very much. Sharon, Rhoda, Mark, all right, Hudson, who else have I not mentioned? All right, moving forward, we have different canvases, especially when we talk about personal branding. And all these canvases means they're like forms, or they are guidelines to help you brand better. I hope everyone is able to see the screen that I'm sharing. When we talk about personal branding, we have 5 different canvases. One is a canvas. The basic meaning of a canvas is a plain piece of cloth. Normally it's like a tent, very plain. Then you start building on it by use of building blocks. So I'll show you an example of this. I'll show you all these canvases in the next maybe 15 minutes. Then if you need to get access to these canvases, just drop your email address on the chat box. We will share the canvases with you as well, so that you can fill them as homework for this class. I can hear someone saying they're not able to hear, no sound. Can you just check if you have activated your mic? Ogada, just see if you have turned on your mic so that you're also able to hear us. Okay, so I'll move on to the canvases. So what I was saying, a canvas is like a plain piece of cloth, and you're given building blocks, as I'm going to show you very shortly. Then you are able to build, to ask yourself questions, and at the same time be able to answer those particular questions. So just give me a minute. I open them. I open the canvases. In the meantime, if you have any questions, just send them to the chat box. Also, write us your email address there. We are going to share with you the canvases so that you can work on them at your own personal time. Also, if you need the personality test, it's available. Just put your email and indicate personality test. We'll send you the correct personality test. All right, so I'm going to change the screen now from the presentation that we are having to the canvases models that we will be discussing shortly. All right. So we will start with the personal, let me see what is the personal branding canvas. I hope everyone is able to see the personal branding canvas. All right, I hope, let's just do by a show of hands of those who are able to see the personal branding canvas so that I can continue. If you're able to see the personal branding canvas, just raise your hand. There's Charles there, there is Jemima, so we can continue. Now that I hope everyone is able to see the personal branding canvas. I also hope what was his name? Who was not able to hear us, they can now hear us. I hope so. So allow me to move on because of time. So when you see the personal branding canvas, as I was telling you, it's just like a plain piece of cloth. But you need now to start building the blocks, because like this one, the personal branding canvas helps you to identify your skills, your identity, your professionalism. If you can see my mouse where it's moving, then the reasons to believe. I've seen in the chat box someone who is saying, how do people oversell themselves? This is something why the people oversell themselves, because they believe in themselves too much. Then positioning, why you, then communication, then audience. To be able to successfully cover this whole topic, I strongly believe you have to fill this canvas, because they not only give you an insight of who you are, but also what your brand could become in the long run. So this is one of the canvases, the personal branding canvas. I'm going to share the next one, which is the personal BMC, personal business model canvas. Especially if you are doing a business, this is a must fill, because you just need to find out. I hope everyone is able to see the new screen I have shared, because the BMC, what you call personal business model canvas, helps you to identify your key partners, your key activities, what are you going to be doing in the business, who are your key resources, the people who help you visualize your business, the value proposition of what value are you taking to your customers, How will you be interacting with your customers and customer relations? Then who are your customers? Because you can actually sell to everyone, but you want to sell to a very specific segment of the entire market. Then channels and tools, how are they going to know you, or how are you going to deliver? For the longest time, I never thought I would sit in the house and make a whole supermarket order and get it delivered to my house. And this is the new reality we're living in. And I know so many people in the background could be, no, a lot of businesses today, I know they're moving to the online space. So this just helps to think beyond the box. Then there's the costs, what you give, then the revenues and benefits. How are you going, what kind of revenue are you going to get? And also what kind of benefits are you going to get from your business? Briefly, I'm going to show you also another type of canvas. This is the networking canvas. Whenever we talk about branding, networking is a conversation you can't avoid to have. Because the only way to bring your brand to life is by talking to people. And talking to people, that's where the networking comes in. I know some of us are very good at networking, unlike for others. But if you're in the process of building your own brand, then you need to be able to network better. Because you have professional networks, we have networks from our churches, our social chamas, but how are you able to bring all this together to help your brand? So as you can see from this particular canvas, I'm not so sure if it's very visible on your end. It is divided into 3 parts: the personal, career, and business. Then on the horizontal, no, on the vertical side, there's develop, boost, and learn. So when you're filling this particular canvas, it's able to guide you. Is it something that you need to develop? Or is it something that you need to boost? Or is it something that you need to learn? So I think these canvases are very good. And for the people who have filled them before, they give us very good results. Like I have filled the entire canvas. This is how it has been able to shape my own business, or my own business or my own brand. So moving forward, I'll share with you one more or two more? One more canvas. This is the personal SWOT matrix. I know most of us have heard about SWOT. SWOT is the strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. So, but how are you able to convert your weaknesses into strengths? If you can be able to see my screen, how are you able to match your strengths to opportunities? And how are you able to convert or manage your threats into opportunities? So especially this one is very good, because there's no need of identifying your strengths and weaknesses and you don't know how to manage them or even how to convert them. So, and it gives you pointers on how best you're able to go around converting weaknesses to strengths, managing or matching strengths to opportunities, and also managing threats to opportunities. So very quickly, I'll show you another canvas. The last one, what is it called? Communication matrix. Because communication is a very powerful tool or a very powerful skill that you need to learn. And the earlier you are able to learn it, the better for you, especially as an entrepreneur or someone who is building a brand. So it's something you're able to feel them comfortably at your own space. And the good thing about this canvas is they keep changing. Like you can feel it today, then after 3-4 months, you refill it again, and you see if you are in the growth. If you are growing together with your brand and your business. So I've seen on the comments someone asking if you're going to share this. Yes, we are going to share this after this presentation. If you have not written down your email address, just kindly send us your email address will share with this immediately after this presentation. So we'll go back to our original presentation, see what has been left there. But branding is a very exciting journey. And if you have not already started, that's a journey that you need to start working on. Because if you are able to get your brand right from day one, then it becomes very, very easy for you to build on a brand. Because they say Rome was not built on one day. True, the same happens to your own brand, either as a person or if you have a brand for a product or service. It's something that you need to build on a step at a time, but eventually it is going to be a household brand for you. So moving on swiftly, a few points on still number 3, brand positioning. You have done all this. You have created this beautiful brand. You have come up with a name. You have come up with a logo. It's out there. It's on Facebook. It's on Instagram. But how are you able to position your brand? Because positioning is very critical. Because if you have a product for, say, people aged between 50 and 60 years old, you can't position it the same as if it's a product for 18-year-olds. You see, those are two different market segments. So you need to get your brand positioning right. You could have created this beautiful brand, but if you're not able to position it, then it becomes a problem for you. So how to validate your brand? Number 1, a great elevator pitch. I know someone asked me about this elevator pitch in a previous training that we conducted. An elevator pitch, just imagine yourself, elevators are normally like lifts. Those that are in our apartments or those are in our offices in town. Imagine you meet an investor in the elevator, hapo kwa lift, just before you go in. And you notice them, this one is Jack Ma, you know. Then he greets you like, hi, you say, hi back. Then he tells you, tell me something about your business. That's an elevator pitch. Because maybe he's moving from the ground floor to the 4th floor. How many seconds does it take? About 30 seconds. At most 1 minute. So when we talk about elevator pitches, what can you share about your brand in the shortest time possible? And do you exactly have that elevator pitch today? If I ask you, tell me more about your business or tell me more about your brand, is it something that will come instantly to you or you'll have to think about it? So that is a bit about elevator pitch. So it has to be very brief, extremely brief. It has to be very relevant. You just have to stick to the main points. It has to be very easy to understand. It has to be differentiated, compelling, and authentic. You know, they look like there's so many words, but this is something you can put in a sentence or two. If you're asked, tell me more about your brand, you can say, my name is Mercy. I'm an educator. I train children who are under 10 years old. I do homeschooling, etc., etc. So it has to be very brief, relevant, easy to understand, differentiated, compelling, and authentic. I'll encourage all of us after this presentation, come up with your own elevator pitch, because that's the only way you are able to differentiate, validate your brand, and also position it at the same time. By elevator pitches, you can even Google on LinkedIn an elevator pitch. They're usually less than a minute. So it's something that you need to practice it, know it by heart, say it with as much enthusiasm as you can, because these are lifetime opportunities that you meet them along the way. All right, moving on, we are almost coming to the end. Actually, we are at the end of this presentation. So what are some of the points to remember? So point number one is, who am I? And that was the step one that we covered earlier. So like, you just have to find out who you are as a person, and moving forward, how are you able to position yourself? Number two, what's my unique selling point? Because you don't want your business to be considered as a copycat, or even your brand to be considered as a copycat. So you just have to find your unique selling point. Number three, who is my audience? Don't try to target everyone. That one might not work for you. Just try to target or segment your market to a small market. With time, you can grow to reach other markets. But if you're just starting out, you just need to focus on a very small audience or a small target market. Number four, how do I interact? If especially you're branding for a business or an entrepreneurship journey, you just need to get this right. Interaction, networking, communication, those are things that you need to get them right from the word go. Then number five, how do I get noticed? Because you don't build a brand to put it under a table. You build a brand to be known. And a lot of people are very busy working to get their brands known. And you need to get it known the right way. You know, you're not just doing a fitness class. Why are you doing the fitness class? So just have to find, as much as you're trying to find your unique selling point, but also you need to find out, how do I get noticed? Number six, what's next? What's next, which is normally the last point, is positioning. How do I position myself in the market? Because there's so many people selling so many things, but positioning is what works for them. And positioning is just the way I've talked about the elevator pitch. You just have to get it right. Like, if I ask you, what do you do? In less than a minute, you need to give me everything that deals with your brand and exactly what you do. So I come to the end of this presentation. It was very nice interacting with all of you. I'll take a few questions. The last page of this presentation is our contacts. Feel free to drop us an email. Feel free to call us, SMS us, WhatsApp us, follow us on the social media platforms. More than willing to meet you at your point of need. I'll take a few more questions at this point. And I had already seen a few questions when we were starting out. I'll start with the one for my passion doesn't pay. How do I monetize a passion for reading? This is by Herbert Omwanza. Have you thought about starting a book club, for example? Or I've seen a book clubs for children as well. I don't know what level of reading you're referring to. Is it adult reading or reading for children? A book club is a very good way to start from. Just get the same people who you share the same passion, because I find a lot of readers also make very good writers. So you can convert your passion to writing as well, so that you're able to monetize your writing. You can write for a blog, you can write a book, you can even write on behalf of other authors. So I think that is something that you can work on. Though I'm very keen to pick this conversation with you outside of this discussion. So pick any of the contacts and reach out to me. So I'll move to Teresia. What advice can you give to people who oversell themselves, busy chasing likes and follows on social media? Are they not trying to seek attention? Yes, they are trying to seek attention by getting all these likes and follows on social media. But the problem with overselling oneself is, are you able to deliver? Because if you can, for example, I know there's a crisis of face mask. If you advertise you're able to deliver face mask, 1,000 face masks over 24 hours, for you, if you know it's an oversell, then the problem comes, am I able to deliver? So the biggest problem that comes with overselling is delivery, and also the quality of service or products that you're delivering. So I don't know if the overselling comes from your part or from the part of vendors, people who supply you services and products. So especially if you find out if someone is overselling themselves, then you need to work very precisely on timelines. Like if I give you this job, I expect it in 2 days or 3 days or 4 days. Also, maybe you can work on a payment model, like to get this work delivered, you pay 50% or 75% just to avoid the overselling part. I hope I've answered that question. If not, let's pick this conversation out of here. I think from Teresia, we still have another question. I have seen people living a lie by pretending to be what they are not and end up not maintaining this for long. How best can one connect well with the audience and be able to be recognized as a brand? I think this question, I've also answered it when I was talking about the question of overselling. You just have to be very strict on timelines to avoid the overselling part. And the pretending part, I think you really don't have control over someone else apart from yourself. So, and I think this question, you try to answer it by knowing exactly who you are. If you're able to answer successfully the first part of that question, when we were starting, I hope you had already joined us when we were starting. Who are you? If you're able to answer all those questions, like what are your passion, what are your likes, what are your skills, what are your abilities, attitude, what's your personality, then this part of overselling and pretending, I don't think it will be a concern for you, especially when building a brand. Because you can't build a brand on lies. It will catch up with you definitely. At one point or another, it's going to catch up with you. Let me see. I hope you'll be able to share the canvases with us. Yes, I'm going to share the canvases with us. If you have shared your email address, you'll definitely get the canvas in your email, in your inbox shortly after this. Great. I will try to come up with an elevator pitch for my brand, Pam or Catch. Yes, just come up with it and share with us. Let's see how it comes out. How do I get my brand noticed? Send us pointers on this, please. I think this one we have talked about it on how to get your brand out there. And the fact today we are living in a very digital age. I just think we just need to leverage on technology. Just leverage on technology, that whichever it's available to you. It could be WhatsApp groups, Facebook, LinkedIn, all these, Twitter. Just leverage on technology, and also use your friends and family. If they're able to make you know the next other person, then you should be able to get your brand noticed. If this is a problem, kindly just pick this conversation with me, Pam. Our great class from June, great content from Steven. Lois, how do you guide on elevator pitch and or branding for persons? Yes, this particular class was a general class when it comes to branding, because you can build yourself as a brand. Because I know, like for Lois, she does fitness classes, which are dance or Zumba. So because that's not a product or a service, it's you who is selling yourself to people. So then then you need to build yourself as a brand. When people think or hear Lois, then they need to relate your business, which is a fitness class, to you. So I'm more keen to pick this conversation with you separately on how to build yourself as a brand. So I think if we don't have, I think we have any other question. Yes, thanks, Purity. That was a very informative session. My main take was on the canvases. Can't wait to interact with them. Yes, I'll encourage you to do all the canvases. and share them back with me. I'm interested to see exactly how you're able to fill these canvases and how they're able to move your branding game to the next level. So without further much ado, if there's no any other question, I'll call this class to an end. We have another class tomorrow, how to deal with change and uncertainty. It's a bit early in the morning at 11 a.m. We are having a psychologist who will come to join us on just how to deal with all this uncertainty. I know so many of us are worried about our jobs, our businesses. Some of us are staying in their houses for the first time in forever. They're almost coming to a state of depression. So you're just wondering, how do I make, or how do I break this balance? So if that's a topic that is of interest to you, how to manage change and uncertainty, be sure to join us tomorrow in the morning at 11 a.m. If you don't have the Zoom details, just give me a call. You can text me or WhatsApp me. I'll be sure to send you the Zoom details. So that is it. Thank you so much, and God bless you. Keep safe. Thank you so much.